Soon-to-be cat ladies are furious that men don't want to date them. So it continues to get worse. Women are continuing to complain, shame, attack the very few men that are still even dealing with them. They are going ballistic because even the men who are still choosing to engage them at all don't actually want to engage them. These men don't want to speak to them. These men are completely nervous when dealing with them. These men, in many cases, are outright ghosting them and avoiding them. Let's just jump right into the video.
It's Monday, which means it is time for another round of Monday Morning Quarterback. Today, we are talking love.
Oh, yeah, or maybe the absence of love. Here to catch us up on what we need to know when it comes to who's responsible for a bad date is our favorite Monday Morning Quarterback, Mike Muse. Okay, you gotta tell us about this. What are women saying?
Yo, Eva and Will, I went down a rabbit hole this weekend. I found this article on Inside Hook, and this article suggested that men are just not engaging on dates and are not conversational. The author goes on to say that, in a podcast as well, would say that they will actually sip their coffee or their drink and wait awkwardly for the man to say something, to which the man never says anything. They also go on this article to say that sometimes the Trader Joe's cashiers will talk more to them than the actual men do. And I just wholeheartedly disagreed with this assessment. But I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts?
That's a good way of engaging right there. Yeah, I haven't had to do that in a while, but I think you gotta. If you're actually interested in someone, you need to show interest, I guess.
Our executive producer, Kat, was saying she wants someone to play tennis with her. You've got to at least be able to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, do ping pong. So I was doing some of my market research. So I was talking to a lot of my single friends, and they were actually agreeing parts of this article and saying that sometimes it's the second date where the guy clams up and not so much the first date.
I think when you aren't connected to someone, it can be hard to have a truly engaging conversation.
Right, there's nothing worse than the boring, oh man, I'm not having a good time. I'm on the hook for this whole meal and can't wait for it to be over.
This is why you pay cash. You bring cash, you can pay for it and go, this was lovely, you are lovely. So this is not a thing.
You can't, you can't, as a guy, you better be doing well enough that you don't get a runner. So it's
but this is what they're saying also too in terms of how social media has changed the construct of the conversation.
Because everyone's on their phone.
See, here's the thing. These women are not going to pay for those meals. All right. What's really happening is the men are going on these dates and they are not happy with the women. They don't feel comfortable with them. They are miserable speaking to them. They're miserable being out with them. And of course, these women, all they're doing is pushing away the very few men that are still willing to engage them. Okay. Research is showing that right now, roughly 75 to 90% of men are no longer actively seeking out dates. These women are absolutely dating the exact same guys right now. We know this because when you look at the spread of venereal illnesses, they are being concentrated in specific areas among the same women. All right. So if all the same women are getting these venereal diseases, that means these venereal illnesses, that means that they're all being intimate with the same guys. They have a very, very small pool of guys right now that are willing to actually go out on dates with them. And when these men go on dates with them, these men are watching Manosphere videos, and they're basically like, Angry was right. Angry, these guys. Listen, I told you the Manosphere is full of simps because they have nowhere else to go. And I banned them all day long, and then they pop up and they're like, yeah, Angry, I was one of your trolls. I was one of the simps. You were right. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Go away. Get the hell off my channel. And, they'll just continue lurking because they have no pride. They have no self-respect. They're simps. They're sleazy guys. If they actually had some dignity, they'd stop watching my videos and go somewhere else. Go where they're appreciated. Go where they're celebrated. Because it won't be from me. But they won't do that. I always tell them, listen, please, there's a guy named Destiny. He's a streamer. He has a channel on YouTube. Go and check him out. Listen to his philosophy on life. Because, really, it's a path to destruction. His wife left him. She's in a relationship with this really messed up guy. And, that's where that lifestyle leads. And I want these guys to go down that path. I want them to live that destiny life, because it's a path to destruction. But no, after they screw up, they want to come back, and I don't care. I don't want them. I don't want them. These women cannot accept that these men don't even want to engage with them anymore. They go on these dates and then they regret the date. And they're like, oh, you should be entertaining me. Why aren't you speaking to me? Why aren't you talking? You see, these men don't want to entertain you. They're tired of you. So guess what? After they go on these dates, they're like, you know what? I choose PlayStation 5. I choose PlayStation 5. They go home, they beat off, and they say, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do that again. All right? I'm going to keep my money in my wallet. I'm going to focus on myself and my own happiness. I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to walk away. And they walk away. And they discover the community. And they're like, wow, look at all of these guys having all of this success overseas. So if I want to go on a date, I'll fly out of the United States. I'll go to another country. And I'll do it over there. But I'm not going to do that in America. Too much. It's too dangerous. It's too expensive. And the experience is just miserable. And then other guys, they're seeing the whole soft guy thing because it's only going to continue growing. And you're going to have some of these dudes that are going to start saying to these women, that's why these women are scared. Because you're going to have men literally, it's already happening. But it's only going to, it started off as a joke, but it's only going to continue expanding. A lot of dudes are very, 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 like, they have no chill. They're going to start telling these women, like, start cash apping me some money. Like, you want to be in a relationship? Like, you need to take me on a date. You need to cash at me. You need to do something for me. Like, show me you're not a broke girl. Because like, I'm not into this. I'm not into that whole brokey thing. I don't need any dusties or brokies in my life. And it's as simple as that. I am the prize. Talk about eye of the tiger.
Not used to having to say words to each other.
Oh, you mean not on a date?
Yeah.
If someone breaks out their phone on a date, I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that.
But also, too, though, it talks about this idea of social media has created these conversations about commodity. So guys are now viewed as like a commodity, as well as women when it comes to high quality value of a man, high quality value of a woman. Is this guy able to fund a lifestyle?
I wish you could see Keisha's face right now. I really want you to see Keisha's face.
Yeah, there's an eyebrow raise.
The fact that you just referred to men as a commodity.
No.
Yeah. No, that's not me, Keisha. Social media.
Notice how she tries to put down men immediately. He says that both men and women are viewed as commodities. She has no problem viewing women as commodities, but she immediately rejects the notion that men are a commodity and men have extrinsic value. That there are people who desire them. If you go outside of Western society, men are a commodity. Okay. And women absolutely hate that. This is why, guys, they don't like us. I've told you plenty of times. They don't like us in Western society. They don't appreciate us. They do not celebrate us. They despise us. These are people who resent us. They look at us as less than, as beneath them. Okay? This is, guys, we're basically here to provide for them, protect them, entertain them, and then F off once they're done with us. Although they'll never, ever be fully done with us, because if it works out the way they're planning, they'll continue to extract wealth and resources from us for the rest of our lives if they're able to, either directly or indirectly. This is the reality that we live in. I told you, these people don't like us. If you see how evil it is, it's absolutely, it's wicked. And they're never going to stop. They're never going to stop. Guys, I'll tell you something, though. I made a post a day ago or so, and I basically said that, I woke up this morning with a headache, and I woke up this morning feeling sick, had a terrible headache throughout the day, and still dropped 4 videos. Welcome to manhood. Right now, I feel awful. As I'm recording this video, I feel terrible. Nasty headache again. I feel terrible. Absolutely horrible. What am I doing? I'm working, and I don't need a thank you. I don't need anything, but I'm just giving you, this is the reality for men. Men basically knowing how to suffer. Men can do, if there's something that a man can do, we have a super that is our superpower. It is our ability to suffer. Women cannot suffer. Women can handle pain, and not and not over the long term. Women cannot have, because if over the long term, pain that becomes suffering, a woman cannot handle that. They cannot handle suffering. There's so many of you guys on the channel, and you'll tell me about your lives. For example, Christina Applegate, she has multiple sclerosis, and she's crying, like she's like, I think it's MS, and she's like, I have lesions on my brain, my eye sockets are swollen, and I can barely walk, and I can't, I'm just, I really don't want to confront it or accept it, because I'm not ready to do that yet. And I had one guy pop up and said something like, he's a father, he's raising a kid, he has multiple sclerosis, he's got lesions on the brain, he's working, he's doing all of these different things, and all of these, like, basically letting me know that, yeah, bro, I got that. Next, I got things to do. I got to take care of myself. I've got to put food in my belly. No one's taking care of me. No one's coming to rescue me. And it's not just him. It's multiple guys like that. They'll just pop up and say, yeah, I'm disabled. I'm disabled. All right. I work. I make money. I take care of myself. Tons of these people pop up and tell me, and they'll probably have, maybe it'll even happen in this video. Guys just start checking in. That's why I told you, manosphere is powerful, and they let you know about the suffering that they go through, and they don't complain about it. They just take it and they go with it, because that's the life of a man. All right, we were born to suffer. This is something that a friend of mine, a former friend of mine, told me. He said that men are born to suffer, and the truth is, it's true. We are born to suffer. And for most of us, our lives will always be filled with suffering. But if there's one thing that we can do that women can, is we can suffer. We can take it and just keep moving along. There's a picture of these men. And, this was during the events of Germany, during WW2. And they were, certain people that were taken into custody, and they were in one of those CAMPs. And there's a picture where they're very ragged. You have a bunch of guys who are, they're not dressed, they're not really wearing a lot of clothing, and they're very skinny. And when anyone looks at the picture, you think, oh my gosh, they look absolutely terrible. But one of the people who was actually there that day, he looks at the picture and he goes, what people see is extraordinary amounts of suffering. But he said, for us there that day, it was just another day. That was actually a good day. We had been playing some games with one another. We've been telling jokes, and men find a way to cope and make it, even in our suffering. We just accept it and we keep it moving. And that's the life of a man. And I share this with you because, right now I have to do a lot for myself, and I suffer a lot. And these women who are doing these things and treat men so poorly, there's a thing called in sickness and in health. I asked Mayumi, what happens when her husband is sick, when she's sick. She said, when he's sick, she takes care of him. When he's sick, she takes care of him. When she's sick, he takes care of her. These women will have no one to take care of them. Look at the lives that they are living. Single men are now having the longest lifespans in Western society. All right, men who never married men are experiencing the longest lifespans in Western society, and single men, they're seeing significant increases in life just being single. Now consider this notion. While women as a whole, single women, are seeing the largest decrease in life, specifically young single women are seeing the largest decrease in life in essentially in history, as far back as we go. As far back as we can go, they are experiencing the shortest lifespans, as far back as we can go. Okay? This is crazy. What this basically means, what you need to take into consideration, is that a lot of these women who are doing these things, they're going to be very, very sick soon. If you notice, everyone's coming down with CAN-CER. A lot of people are coming down with that right now, and they're developing health issues. These women don't have a lot of time left. They're going to be coming down with serious health issues in the coming years. They're going to be suffering really badly. They have no children. They have no husbands. They have no support. They're in deep financial constraints. And I've talked about this. This is why I criticize Gen Z. Gen Z doesn't understand that just because they're living like there is no tomorrow doesn't mean there is no tomorrow. Do I think Gen Z is going to be around in 20 years? No. But just because they won't be around in 20 years doesn't mean some of them still won't be around in 10. Life is not going to end just like that. There's a lot of suffering that happens before life just comes to an end. Trust me, I know. I spent 2 to 3 years in excruciating pain, suffering for years. I was so sick for years. I may sound better to you right now. I'm still recovering from my condition. I went 2 to 3 years, and I had a horrible health condition, and no one could figure out what was wrong with me. And I suffered for years. I shouldn't be here right now, but guess what? It just doesn't work out like that. Okay? It doesn't, you don't just, you'd be surprised where you don't get to expire just like that. It takes time. There's a lot of suffering that you will go through before you finally get to leave this world. DEATH doesn't always come that easy. It's a sad truth, but it's very, very true. And these women who've done these things, they are going to suffer. They're going to suffer from serious health issues. They're going to suffer from loneliness. And they've doubled down with feminism. And here's the thing. These videos that these lunatics are posting saying that I don't need no man, and ladies, I've been single all these years and I'm happy by myself and I have a very rich and fulfilling life. You see sometimes 60-year-old women, 70-year-old women putting these things up, or other women basically talking about this and saying, yes, queen, yes, we don't need these men. Stay away from these men. You are so much better on your own. All of these women who are married, they are so miserable. It's the men who benefit from marriage. Women do not benefit from marriage. It's men. These women, they are trying to drag all other women down with them, so that they can validate their bad decisions. They would rather every woman on earth go to hell with them than to admit that they have damned themselves to hell. This is why I say that these individuals are functionally insane at best. And there's an element of evil and wickedness in there, because you have to be evil, you have to be wicked to want to drag everyone down with you, just so you can avoid ever having to admit that you were wrong, that you messed up. You're going to double down. Guys, how evil and wicked do you have to be? I used to have an acquaintance, and she used to say she doesn't know why. She doesn't know why people say that women care about one another, because they don't. Women will gang up and form groups and cliques, to get what they want and to go after men and destroy the lives of men, but they don't actually like each other. I remember a meme once, and it showed, a woman walking away from her friends, and they say nice things to her face, and then as soon as she's gone, they start saying terrible things behind her back. And then there's another meme of guys, and the guys, this guy is about to leave, and the guys are saying very nasty things to his face, and he's like, all right, yeah, see you guys. And as soon as he walks away, the guys start saying nice things behind his back. And the reason why is because women are two-faced. Guys, don't forget that I have another channel called Angry, where I discuss gaming, anime, geek stuff, nerd stuff, real world stuff, and whatever else interests me. There's a link to it in the description of the video. Go check it out, subscribe to the channel, support my work. And if you're enjoying the content on this channel, don't forget that I have another channel called Men Walking Away. If you want even more Angry Guy content, I post new videos daily on Men Walking Away. There's a link to that channel in the description of the video. Go check it out, subscribe, enjoy the content, support my work. Guys, what do you think regarding this? Soon-to-be cat ladies are furious that men don't want to date them. Let me know your thoughts on this, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA, Men Walking Away, and cheers.